Hi guys, I'm back at another reasonable hour. In this one we're gonna talk about this McLaren. It's a 570S. And I shot the backplate in Italy, minus the top part, because I will end up changing this. Or not this, but what was here previously. And I'm gonna talk about how to read the camera, on what size, what lens you shoot this, so you can basically go into 3ds Max and set up your cameras properly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the raw image. Okay, the raw image that I shot with my camera. Okay, this was the raw image. As you can see, that was the background originally. I will end up changing it because it feels a bit noisy. I mean, it was a 12 megapixel camera, so I did not have too much expectations either way. So this is the camera raw editor in Photoshop. Opens up automatically when you just double click the raw images. A few things to notice: I already changed these. Here's the interesting part. If you look up here, you can see that the image was shot on a lens from 18 to 55 millimeters at 55 millimeters. So that means in 3ds Max I will set up my camera at 55 millimeter. That's what you should do, I guess, but I usually go lower to make the car a bit longer, to have a bit more of a field of view, and it still works. It still blends in properly with the image. So that's just something that I like to do. So as you can see, a few things that I changed, had added some clarity. What I would say with clarity is edit first, add like, I wouldn't go higher than 20, because after that it like will start ruining the image quite a lot. Edit as the first thing that you change, and then mess with these and with the temperature. Haven't touched those. Sharpening, noise reduction, pretty minimal, as you can see. Haven't touched anything there. Here you can see that I'm removing the chromatic aberration. That would be a weird purplish bluish edge on objects. Not in this case, since there's really no contrasty object here, but usually it's really visible, especially with kit lenses. And also the lens profile. This, you can select the camera and the camera lens that you were using, and you can basically sort out the distortion, which is really not changing anything right now for some reason. Yeah, whatever. And then pretty much it. You could add some dehaze if you have some haze, but I would not go too hot with this either. And then I will simply hit open image. Here at the bottom you can see what you're gonna export. In this case it's a 16-bit image. You can change this by clicking on it. You can simply hit open image, then you're good to go. So I'm gonna go into 3ds Max now. This was my scene. As I said before, the camera was on 55 millimeters. So normally, as you can see here at my camera, actually, whatever, I did use 55 millimeters. I usually go a bit higher, a bit lower, sorry. In that case, your degrees increase, and you kind of get a fisheye effect if you go like really low. So that's pretty much it with the camera. As you can see, I have two lights. These are basically lights with a map added to it that will soften the edges, so it will not create those super sharp squarish lights. Those can get really annoying. This way it's a bit more natural, more smoother. Yeah, this was one of those cases when I shot the HDRI when I was on that location, but the camera was only capable of a really short range. Not like I really needed in that particular spot, but there I didn't even have a tripod, so I had to shoot simple raws with no bracketing. So basically it looked flat. So what I ended up doing is I used the HDRI from a bundle that I bought, and I liked it, but the shadows were off a bit. So I actually ended up mixing that with another HDRI from the same bundle. By the way, don't mind the V-Ray HDRI map that I'm using. I'm only using it for the gamma. Everything was rendered with Corona. As you can see, I have one HDRI and the second one, and I just mixed them together. This is overcomplicating, and it's gonna kill your RAM, your memory. But I really didn't felt like adding the HDRI to HDR Light Studio and then change it there. I didn't want to mess with it. I caught this like by almost first, like both of them. The rotation were perfect. I mixed them 50% and it was good to go. As you can see here in the image, this is what it gave me. So that's pretty much it. So here it is. This was the original one. I ended up ditching it because, as I said, it was kind of super low quality. It was really far. It was foggy. I mean, we were basically so high that we were inside the clouds. As you can see, I might have deleted the other ones. No. I tried many other backplates, but man, they just didn't want to fit at all. And after that I found this on the sky and I was like, you know what, that's good enough. It looked nice. I didn't really need anything there, just some mountains, and that was more than enough. I really like how the final render looked like. Alright, after this I also rendered an interior scene. Few things to say about this. I will not go into 3ds Max just for this. Few things to notice here. It's a quite simple scene. The materials were kind of complicated, especially the Alcantara, and I even did a really big mistake. I had to render this image for many hours. The resolution was maybe too big, and I kind of felt like I'm on the limit of my RAM. And at the end I was not careful at all. I forgot the denoising on 0.5 for some stupid reason, and I exported it like that. Then closed 3ds Max as well. And when I opened it up in Photoshop, my Alcantara was like almost flat. So I basically had to re-render everything that was Alcantara. Take care when you render, and take a look at your denoising. Best if you turn it on 0, and then just like export multiple ones. You even have elements that you can use, multiple beauty passes, and you can set different denoising amounts for each, which is really good, because as I said, denoising is awesome in Corona, but for car paints is not the best, and neither for bumpy material. It will still work, but you will have to keep a really low value. So that was that. About the lighting, I had the HDRI and one single light inside the vehicle. I used a HDRI from Peter. I'm not gonna pronounce his last name because I don't know how to, and I don't want to offend him. But basically you can download a few of his HDRIs on the Corona renderer website, on the official website, and they are really good. They were perfect for this scene. I ended up changing the backplate though, so that's not his. Other than that, I had a simple square light with softened edges to basically counter the sun. The sun was around here, and my light was exactly on the opposite side. So basically, it softened up all my shadows, and I don't have don't have really hard shadows from the wheel here on the door, and that's exactly what I wanted. Another thing that I found is basically when I was rendering the scene, I basically deleted or just made them hidden, all my windshields. When I had the windshields on, I started to see some noise, like bouncing left and right, and that would have just added to my render time. So I decided to render it without the windshields, and then render the windshields separately as a simple reflective material. So my windshields were pretty much looking like this. They were separate. Now this has 3 of them for various reasons. One is on screen, another one on screen, and the last one was on soft light to get this effect still visible, but as you can tell that it's a windshield. So that's a nice tip. By the way, this had no transparency at all when I was rendering these, and I actually used the Corona's region render, the new one that's implemented in the VFB. So I only rendered these parts that I needed. I hope you enjoyed this series as always, and please let me know what do you think about these, if they were useful or not. I would be really happy to make more in the future, just as long as I have the time. See you guys next time.